Grace and peace to you, friends. To celebrate the festival of Christmas, I've been asked to read again the Yuletide memories of 4 celebrities: an actor, a poet, an author, and a saint. Richard Burton, Dylan Thomas, Truman Capote, and St. Luke. I do so gladly. Maybe we'll discover a new truth about Christ, or be drawn closer to God and each other. Let that be our prayer. Burton and Thomas tell of their childhood Christmases in Wales. Burton lived 5 miles down the valley from me and was 6 months older. Thomas lived 15 miles to the west of me and was 12 years older. Thomas had a normal, happy boyhood in a schoolteacher family. Burton's was a sad coal miner home. His overworked mom had 11 children before him. When he was 2, she bore her 13th and died, worn out. The family had to be broken up. He was sent to live with his married sister, Sis. He loved Sis deeply all his life. And though he became famous, he always honored his boyhood. For instance, when he came to Dallas, playing Camelot's king, we arranged to meet, chatted a fair bit, and had a picture taken. As for his childhood Christmases, he remembers them as very cold, yet somehow holy. I'll read some of his memoir. There were not many white Christmases in Wales in my childhood. I don't know why there should have been so few in such a cold, wet land. The nearness of the sea, perhaps. The Atlantic endlessly harried us with tempest and gale. Perhaps our winds were too wild and salty for the snow to get a grip. In Dylan Thomas's memories of Christmas, their snows are very different, though they lived just a few miles apart. Dylan's memories are of plentiful, jolly snowfalls you can play in all day. How could they be so different? Maybe Richard Burton's memory asks a different Christmas question from Dylan's, and as he tells of that long ago Christmas Eve when he was 8. It's near bedtime. He's hoping to get a fire engine for his present. There were no other children in the house. For company, he had only his Uncle Dan. He writes, "Suddenly, my sister's husband came into the room. 'All right,' he said to Dan, 'off you go. Take the boy with you.' 'Where to?' I asked. 'Just go with Dan and behave yourself,' he said. 'Where's my sister?' 'Never mind, go you.' We went out into the night, to the vacant ground where the miners had built a bonfire, and stood round it, burning one side and frozen the other. No room in the inn then for this little boy and his Uncle Dan. Instead, he stood miserable and bewildered with coal miners at a bonfire, wondering why, losing hope for a fire engine, dreading his sister may be dying. He ends his Christmas reminiscence so. Then the miners began to sing with astonishing sweetness, as Welsh male voice choirs do, about a green hill far away. And I joined my treble to their singing, now about shepherds and magi, till suddenly my Aunt Jenny comes into the light, and Dan asks, 'All right?' 'Lovely,' she says. '9 pounds, a wench.' Dan asks, 'Any of you boys got a piece of silver?' One of the miners gives him a florin, and off home we go. Inside, Aunt Jenny tells the boy, 'There's a Christmas present for you upstairs.' I dimly guessed, of course, but there was still a chance there'd be a fire engine. but the present was a furious, red-faced, bald, wrinkled old woman, 60 minutes old. Dan pressed the florin into the baby's left hand. She held the money tightly. "She'll never be poor," he says to my sister Sis. She looked washed out and weak, but smiled at me, and I gave her a kiss. That's it. But it reminds me of the carol in the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan, and of the first Noel on a cold winter's night that was so deep. All three tell of a frigid Christmas, but in each a baby is born, a gift is given. But I'll share next some of Truman Capote's Christmas memories. They also sound autobiographical. In light of them, it's hard to imagine him writing in cold blood. He was born in New Orleans, of parents soon divorcing. He was sent to live with relatives in Alabama, where he grew close to one of his relatives, an elderly, distant cousin named Nanny. And this old lady is the center of his Christmas memoir of when he was 7. Listen. "Oh my," she exclaims, her breath smoking the window pane. "It's fruitcake weather." She is 60-something. We are each other's best friend. She calls me Buddy, in memory of a boy who was formerly her best friend. The other Buddy died in the 1800s when she was a child. She's still a child. "I knew it before I got out of bed," she said, turning from the window with purposeful excitement in her eyes. "Buddy, stop stuffing biscuits and help me find my hat. We've 30 cakes to bake." They find, too, their dilapidated old baby buggy, and off they go in search of windfall pecans, which Queenie, their tough little rat terrier who has survived distemper and 2 rattlesnake bites, accompanying them. Then back in the kitchen, they shell the pecans, occasionally giving in to Queenie's appeal for one, but not to their own, for those 30 fruitcakes they're making will need them all. They'll also need, of course, cherries, citron, vanilla, ginger, rinds, raisins, all requiring real money, which they've been earning all year by holding rummage sales and selling buckets of blackberries. The coins are kept hidden in an old bead purse, under a loose board, under the chamber pot, under his friend's bed. But after they bought all those ingredients, they still have to get hold of some whiskey, essential for a good fruitcake. Whiskey was prohibited in Alabama, so they go to Mr. Ha-Ha's, a sinful cafe. They've been there in previous years, but have never seen Mr. Ha-Ha, only his wife. They are both Indians. He said to be a giant with a razor scar across his cheeks. As they approach the cafe, all three are nervous, even the dog. The boy knocks, and their hearts are overturned. It's Mr. Ha-Ha himself. He glowers at us. "What do you want with Ha-Ha?" For a moment, we're too paralyzed to tell. Presently, my friend half finds her voice, a whispery voice at the best of time. "If you please, Mr. Ha-Ha, we'd like a quart of your finest whiskey." Would you believe it? Ha-Ha is smiling. "Which one of you is drinking man?" "It's for making fruitcakes, Mr. Ha-Ha." "That no way to waste good whiskey. Nevertheless, $2. We offer him our nickels and dimes and pennies. "Tell you what," he says, "just send me one of them fruitcakes instead." So on the way home, Nanny says they'll put an extra cup of raisin in his cake. And eventually, they put 31 fruitcakes to bask on windowsills and shelves, waiting to be given as gifts to friends. Then they track the woods to find the perfect Christmas tree, drag from the attic treasured old decorations, and make presents for the relatives. For Queenie, they buy a good gnawable bone, wrap it in funny paper, and put it high on the Christmas tree near the silver star. Queenie knows it's there. She squats at the foot of the tree, staring up in a trance of greed. When bedtime comes, she refuses to budge. For each other's gift, they prepare in secret. He'd like to buy her a radio, another out-of-reach present, so instead makes her the best kite he can possibly construct. As for his, she'd like to give me a bicycle. She said so a million times. If only I could, buddy. It's bad enough in life having to do without something you want. But what gets my goat is not being able to give to somebody something you want them to have. Instead, she's building me a kite. Same as last year and the year before. Fine by me, we're champion kite flyers. Christmas morning, crack of dawn, they exchange their joyful kites. Then, in a beautiful meadow, fly them in the clear winter sky. The elderly cousin says, God and heaven must be like this. It turns out to be their last Christmas together. He's soon sent to military school. They write each other, she always enclosing a toilet paper wrapped dime. She still makes a few Christmas fruitcakes, sends him the best one, but gradually she suffers the ravages of old age and slips into dementia. Soon she can't remember who Buddy is, and not long after she passes away. Isn't there an echo here of love came down at Christmas? Now let's hear Dylan Thomas's heartwarming old Welshman telling his little grandson about Christmas when he was a lad. First he tells of the useful presents, engulfing scarves, mittens made for giant sloths, blinding tam-o'-shanters like patchwork tea cozies. Once I had a little crocheted nose bag from one of my aunts, and I'd get pictureless books in which small boys, though warned with quotations not to, would skate on Farmer Giles's pond, and did, and drowned, and books that told me everything about the wasp, except why. But then, thank goodness, there were the useless presents, or bags of moist and many-coloured jelly babies, and a folded flag, and a false nose, and a tram conductor's cap, and a machine that punched tickets and rang a bell. Never a catapult. Once, by mistake, that no one could explain, a little hatchet, and a celluloid duck that made, when you pressed it, a most unduck-like sound, a mewing moo that an ambitious cat might make who wanted to be a cow. Hard boils, toffee, fudge in all sorts, crunches, cracknels, humbugs, glaciers, marzipan, troops of bright tin soldiers, snakes and ladders, happy families, and easy things to make by little engineers, complete with instructions, easy for Leonardo, and a whistle to make the dogs bark and wake up the old man next door, to make him beat on the wall with his stick, to make our picture shake off the wall, and a packet of candy cigarettes. You put one in your mouth, stood at the corner of the street, waited for hours in vain for an old lady to scold you for smoking a cigarette, and then with a smirk you ate it. On and on Grandad tells of Christmas Day. Then how it ended. Always on Christmas night there was music. An uncle played the fiddle, a cousin sang Cherry Ripe, another uncle sang Drake's drum. It was very warm in our little house. And then I went to bed. Looking through my bedroom window, out into the moonlight and the unending smoke-colored snow, I could see the lights in the windows of all the other houses on our hill, and hear the music rising from them up the long, steadily falling night. I turned the light out. I got into bed, said some words to the close and holy darkness, and then I slept. Is there an echo here of O Holy Night? Maybe a far-off echo? Anyway, each of these memoirs is of ordinary folk, nicely told, but none will affect your life much. So let's turn to what can. Let St. Luke draw us to a manger where all is wondrous, a virgin bearing a holy child, an angel with news to change humanity, a heavenly host praising God for it all. This can bring joy and meaning to our lives if we will. Hear it then, St. Luke's Gospel, chapter 2. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And all went to be taxed, everyone into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, who was great with child. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. But the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Saviour, who is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill to all people. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said one to another, Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which is come to pass, which the Lord hath made known to us. And they came with haste, and found Mary and Joseph, and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying which was told them concerning this child. And all they that heard it wondered at those things which were told them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things, and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all that they had heard and seen as it was told unto them. Friends, this can be a Christmas that's really different, God-filled. Joy to the world. The Lord is come. Let every heart prepare him room. May I be the first to wish it you.